Hi, I'm W.A.S.P. How are you with Rock and Roll Industries Magazine, and I'm here with Frankie Banali, longtime drummer of Quiet Riot. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and you?
Good, thank you. Thank you. It's a beautiful day. It's kind of a sad, happy, and historical day all at the same time because we're here to celebrate and mourn the loss and the legacy of one of the greatest guitar players of all time, Randy Rhoads, who you obviously knew very well. And do you have a favorite Randy story of any sort off the top of your head?
Yeah, actually, right after Randy had auditioned for Ozzy and he'd gotten the gig, I'm living in my apartment in West Hollywood, and my phone rings, and I hear this voice. You know, a lot of people don't really understand that Randy had a really kind of low voice, and he goes, "Frankie." I said, "Randy?" He goes, "Yeah. What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just hanging around the apartment." He goes, "You want to go play with this guy Ozzy?" And I said, "Ozzy, like the guy in Black Sabbath?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's the one." And I said, "Sure. When?" He goes, "Tomorrow." And I said, "Well, you know, I've got a drum set in no car." And he goes, "I'll pick you up." And so he came, picked me up. We went to a rehearsal studio called Mars Rehearsal Studio in Hollywood. And the bass player was Dana Strum, who went on to be the bass player in Slaughter. And it was Randy on guitar, myself on drums, and Ozzy. And found Ozzy to be very, very, very quiet and very nice. And we just went up on stage and started slamming out songs. You know, a lot of the songs ended up being that had the beginnings there that ended up being on the first Ozzy record with Randy. And but it was really great because I mean Randy's just like playing all these searing guitar solos. I mean every note was perfect and every emotion was there. And then we finished playing the song and he giggled like a little girl, you know. So and that's what made him so endearing because he was like this incredible talent, but he was also an incredibly sweet person. And here 30 years later, I mean, you know, flesh misses flesh, but it's not a sad occasion because you now look back and you celebrate his life and what he did and who he was. And he was one of the sweetest, most endearing persons I've ever known. No ego, talent that was just boundless, yet no ego whatsoever. Just a wonderful person. He loved his family. He loved music.
And obviously, a lot of the ages and as well as the turnout here speaks for itself. But the ages of a lot of people here, you know, there's people that weren't even alive at the same time as Randy that have flocked here today to celebrate him. So that's obviously, you know, a testament to how great he was and everything. What did he teach you as a person and as a musician? What did you come away with from knowing him and working with him?
From Randy, I think dedication to what you do, and humility, because his talent still to this day nobody comes close to what he did, but his talent was so much greater than my own talent, and yet he was the most humble person on the planet, and that is something you should learn from. I mean, he made a great impact in a lot of people's lives, including my own.
So what's new with you nowadays? What are you up to?
I'm still doing Quiet Riot. We've got a new singer, and we're getting ready to do our first show in Scottsdale, Arizona next week. So we're looking forward to keeping the legacy of Quiet Riot moving forward. And since 1982, Quiet Riot has always dedicated the song Thunderbird to the memory of Randy Rhoads. And with the loss of Kevin DuBrow in 2007, we now always dedicate it to the memory of Randy and Kevin. And we continue to do that every single show. You know, every single show, Quiet Riot has remembered Randy since 1982.
Right on, brother. So do you have any plans to tour with Quiet Riot for this year or next year?
Actually, yeah, we're doing our first show next week, and it continues. We're booked out throughout the year.
Congratulations. Keep on rocking. So where can people check out the tour schedule and everything?
They can check out Quiet Riot. I think it's quietriotonline.com. They can check the website there. It's what is it then? Officialquietriot.com is the website, and they can also check my own personal Facebook page.
Thank you so much. This is Frankie Banali, and I'm here with Kelly Garni of Quiet Riot. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's real nice out today here.
It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day for the 30th annual memorial of Randy Rhoads' passing. And we're here in San Bernardino, and there's a huge, huge turnout. Tell us your favorite Randy story.
Well, let me see. Um, you know, I got so many of them. It's really hard to just come on to one, and especially I just got done writing about all of them. But mostly, I just when I talk about Randy, I like to my favorite thing to say about him is how he was a bigger human being than he even was as a guitar player. Him as a person, he was amazing, just an absolutely amazing person. And I knew him really more for that reason than as a guitar player, because we were friends. And so that was what I appreciated most about him, was just how he was as a person.
Tell us a little bit about the book you're working on.
Well, I just happen to have my own personal advertisement right here. It's basically it's my life story. I was approached by several people to do a book about Randy, and I said, well, that's everybody does a book about Randy, and I hadn't written a book yet. I'd written screenplays, but I'd never attempted a book, and so
Really?
yeah, and so I just said, you know what I'll do? I'll make this real easy on myself. I'll make the book about my life story and how big of a part Randy is in my life, because here we are 30 years later and look where I am. And so that's what I wrote the book about. So basically, it's all about me and Randy growing up. It really is. And then the impact Randy's had on my life since his passing as well.
Tell us a little bit about Randy in his later years. What kind of person was he? And did you know all about his going around and like taking classical guitar lesson and then schooling the teacher and everything?
Last time I saw him was when he was in Vegas, and he came through with Ozzy. And last time I saw him in person, and he seemed a lot more grounded than he usually was. I mean, he was always a very level-headed person, but he was real grounded and just seemed very serene inside. And I think that the classical guitar was helping him do that. I think he, with Ozzy, I think he got into something a little bit over his head, and he wasn't really ready for it. And ironically, it was the very thing that we'd worked all our lives for. But he got in a little bit over his head, I think, and he needed that classical guitar thing to get his head into a place where he liked it to be. And so that's kind of how he was last time I saw him.
That's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
My name's Lester Manis. I'm actually a guitar manager down at the Guitar Center down here in San Bernardino, California. Actually came up because, my buddies from Rock and Roll Industries, Mike and his wife, I always, it's funny because I looked on MySpace this morning, or Facebook, seen that the Randy Rhoads Memorial was up here today, and I was not going to miss it for anything. Got up here and spent just really a good time, man. High respects to Randy. Everybody, high respects to Randy, all the way. But, got up here, and a buddy of mine, David, he had an old Fender neck sitting in the back of his thing. He had to get going. And so he goes, hey, man, you want this neck, right? And I'm like, okay. And I ran up here, and I got the whole family to sign the neck. And so I'm going to go up over here with my managers and see if I can get this bolted up into the store. Because this was his local, his local hometown. So that would be more than honorable for him, just to have the whole family up there, And I don't know, I loved him to death. He was a great guy, and long live Randy all the way,
Eva, yeah.
Right.
Tell us about your story with Randy. How did you come to find out about him, and what does he mean to you? What have you taken away from Randy's legacy?
Well, I've been playing guitar for like over almost 35, 40 years. And, when back in the day, I'm an early 80s guy. And when I heard Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz, that was just like the magical album, I was a Deep Sabbath fan anyway. And then when he came out, man, nobody could top the guitar leads and solos, and he was like the ultimate challenge at that time, And then it was just like Randy, and then there was, and then after all the other bands started coming up after that, the metal just grew after that, with everybody. So, and then all the great mentors like Zach and Jakey Lee and all them had to follow him, you know what I mean, and then add on to theirs, and they were just so great. But Randy in general was like, he's the man who started this whole big metal scene that's going on now, you know what I mean? And it's just gotten deeper and deeper and deeper. And look here we are, all one big family, still checking it out, having a great time, and memory of him, you know what I mean? It's just so awesome. And he means to me just like everything, This song that they're playing right now, D, most beautiful, amazing. I remember when I first heard it, and it was just mind-blowing when we found out, when he died. And then I don't know if you got the tribute album, when he does all the outtakes of, and when he's messing up and stuff, when you hear him singing or talking in the background, it just was like, real tear jerking at that time because there's a lot of feeling and emotion when you're listening to that after somebody has just tragically died, you know. And I remember shedding a tear for Dee, and that was just like such a great song, you know. Every song he's put out was awesome and amazing, and and everybody, as you can see around here, you know that what's amazing. Let me tell you what's amazing. What I've seen today, young kids with Quiet Riot albums, you know, limited edition, like old school stuff that I don't think I've even seen. And these kids have got it, and there's such high respect, and they're here too.
Right.
That's the amazing thing about this whole, the whole memorial, service is that there's so many people that high respect, and there's little ones growing up to do the same things that we believe in.
Randy Rhoads will never die.
Right. Exactly. Right on.
Thank you so much. What a rad story. Thank you.
Super excited to be here and glad to be with Rock and Roll Industries here today. Love you guys.
Glad to have you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Baker, who is a photographer and a Randy fan. So what brings you here today, Baker?
Well, Randy was a really big influence in my life. I'm not a guitar player. I was a keyboard player for many years, and mostly from a photography point of view, I just really loved his stage presence and how he commanded that respect and attention on the stage. And that was just something that's really drawn me to him through the years. I've been coming out here to the cemetery since 1983, when he used to be buried over in the mausoleum over here before his mother built this house for him, you know. And he just, through the years, his music and his legacy has just done nothing but evolve and grow to just legendary status.
How old were you when you found out about Randy, and what were your experiences leading up to that point? How did you discover him?
Let's see, I was 19 when he got killed in '82, and I had seen the Blizzard of Oz tour at Long Beach Arena with Motorhead opening, and it was fantastic. And I had also seen the Diary of a Madman tour, which here in Los Angeles was played New Year's Eve of '81. And it was just fantastic. And unfortunately, I got into photography in September of '82, so I didn't get a chance to photograph him, which is something that I really regret and wish I could have done.
Tell us your favorite Randy story, or one of your favorite Randy stories. From what I understand, you have a bunch of them, so this is going to be a little tricky.
I just a lot of things that I've heard. I didn't get a chance to meet him personally. I am friends with quite a few rock stars that I've known through the years. I knew Kevin DuBrow for a long time, and of course Kelly Garni, Frankie Banali, and that whole group. I just really love how the humility of him, and the humbleness, and just how, you know, he always said in a lot of interviews that Ozzy was really the star, and he just really was all about, you know, promoting Ozzy. It wasn't the Randy Rhoads show, you know. It was about his boss and his friend and stuff, and just he was always more in the background. But how could Randy ever really be in the background? I mean, in my opinion, he might not be greater than Ozzy, obviously, because Ozzy was the front man, but he's certainly his equal, you know.
Right. And, you know, as I was saying to you earlier, the age of a lot of people here, I mean, people that weren't even alive in the same time span as him are in here in droves, and that's a true testament to his legacy.
Absolutely. And there's people here from all over the world. I mean, there's a Japanese girl here, very quiet, very reserved, walking around. You can there's people from Minneapolis, talk to a guy from Canada. So this is definitely a big event. I mean, it's a milestone. I mean, 30 years is it's really something. A lot more attention's been drawn to it, you know, with the supposed upcoming documentary. We don't know what the status is on that yet. Possible Randy Rhoads star on the Hall of Fame in Hollywood. So I think he deserves it. You know, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and the fact that it's 30 years later and we have this amount of people here from all over the world, I mean, that really says something, you know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Baker.
All right, thank you.
You're watching Rock and Roll Industries Magazine online.